What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the vlog. Today we're in the Bronco because we're going to start on one of the first mods in the Bronco, which when I picked this thing up, one of the biggest complaints I had was the sound system. Now, I have seen on the Lux models, which gets the Bang & Olufsen sound system, it's really not that much better. Everyone complains about the sound system in the Bronco. This is the base 6-speaker system, but I did get the big screen. The reason for that, the reason why I ordered the way I did, was because the big screen seems a lot harder to change than normal speakers or adding an amplifier. Today we're going to be fixing that by adding an aftermarket amplifier that is fully plug and play and should really elevate the soundstage of the car. That's one of the biggest problems. The soundstage sucks because the speakers are in the bottom kick panel. They're not on the doors, because if the doors come off, there goes your speakers. So there's 2 speakers in the dash, 2 in the bottom kick panel, like right by the pedals. And then there's 2 in the back pods. I don't know why, but Ford in the back pods basically made those non-existent. If you put the back speakers, like if you fade it or balance fade, whatever it is, to put it in the back, if you do that on the back speakers, it sounds garbage. Now, it did break in a little bit. I will admit that the speakers sound better today than they did when I first got the car. But it's still not really up to my standards. I'm a big music guy, and especially because this isn't like a loud, fast car, music matters. I'm actually gonna play this song. It says it's copyright free, so hopefully that's true. But I'm gonna put the camera down on the armrest, make sure the mic settings all the same, and I'm just gonna play the song all the way through, so that way we could do like a before and after, and I can slide before and after right here, so that way you guys could see, is this mod really worth it? So let's go ahead and do that. We got the kicker key, 200.4. It's 50 watts per channel, 4 channels, so 200 total. So this is the 200.4, as you can see. It's very small, and the biggest reason why I went with this is it has DSP. DSP means it has digital sound processing. What that does is it helps fix and basically EQs the car based on each individual car. So it's not the same across the board. It actually includes a little microphone in here, which I'll show that process as well. But that's what's really supposed to elevate the soundstage, and it'll digitally process and set up the sound so it sounds the best for the vehicle. To make this job even easier, we do have the whole wiring harness. So this is fully plug and play. I am figuring this whole thing out, but it should, I mean, everything looks really high quality here. So I have the link down to this below, so you guys with Broncos can make this happen. I did also get the harnesses for upgraded speakers. Now we're just doing the amp today because I just want to see how much better of an improvement this makes on the stock speakers, because a lot of people said start here first. So we're going to start here, but I do have speakers in mind for it. This is the other part of the harness, which plugs right into the kicker key, as well as he did set me up with the kicker hideaway. So this harness is a little bit different. I don't have the hideaway sub. I don't know if I'm actually gonna go with the hideaway sub, but we do have that harness here available as well. You can see here we have power and ground, which he did already set up. So everything's really high quality. It feels nice and tight. All the connections are nice and tight, way better than what I would do. I'm just not a wiring guy very much. So I'm glad that I got the harness just to make everything a lot easier. And again, I'll have the link to all this stuff down below. And again, Gus has made it very easy with pretty good instructions here with visuals, which I'm a very visual person. That's why I make YouTube videos. So let's go ahead and start taking apart the Bronco and get this installed. But before we begin on the install, it's where are we going to install this thing, right? I got it because it's so tiny yet so powerful, and it's the perfect plug and play setup. A lot of people put it behind the glove box right there where my finger's at. I don't want to do that because if you have to adjust settings, it's a pain in the butt. What I'm going to do is mount it underneath the steering wheel. There's actually a bracket under here, which I'll show you in a second. But but it fits almost perfectly. Like, it is made for the kicker key, and someone else posted this, so I'm gonna copy them. All right, so what I did was pull on these, starts to come off. You can see the tabs here maybe. It should start to pull off. I'm just not making sure that I go too ham on it, but right there, popped right off. This is that bracket I was talking about. If you look, this thing mounts almost perfectly, so you'll actually mount it on the other side of it, but this thing fits so nicely right there, and it makes it very easy to access. Next, it looks like it's gonna be this screw right here, and then probably a matching screw on the other side, and then we'll be able to pop this off as well. This one is a 7 mil, but we're gonna use an electric ratchet just to speed up the process here. That's pretty easy. You can already tell it's a little loose, so probably some tabs here that we'll pull down. Let's go do it on the other side. You're gonna notice 2 bolts. We actually only need this one because it's connected to this panel here. Also, I'm looking at it, we're gonna need to remove this grab handle, which is fine, it's 2 bolts, just to give us more room. So let's go ahead and start knocking this one out. Step looks like it's a T30, so probably gonna have to break this one loose. There it goes. And that's off. Okay, so from here, the next step is this little panel. You can see I did grab a trim panel removal tool. This should just kind of help, like it did, pop everything down, and then it should slide out. So it goes down and then out, like towards you as a driver. You can feel it loosening. There it goes. Just give it nice firm pressure out and you'll get it out. So now our next step is to pull this whole panel off, right? So I think the best way to do this is honestly just to use your hands and kind of feel the pressure build. I feel like that's always been a better option for me. The tip I'm giving is like, build up pressure, don't just yank stuff. Like very firm, kind of work around the edges. So like there, you can see I'm building off, getting off that panel. Maybe I can wedge something in here to help pull down. No, not liking that. Just kind of keep working the edges here. And there she goes. So I just kind of built up pressure by squeezing like this with my hands, pulling directly out, and you can see the pins are just straight out. And that's how we got that off. Panel off, you're going to pull out this plug, which as you can see here, it's got a little tab where my thumb is, and you pull straight down, right? This is what whole wiring has hooked up for us. So this will be a fully plug and play kit, because right here, this is what you have to work with all your like speaker wires, right? Try to make a harness and splice into all of these when it's tucked way back here and is so tiny. This plug is a lifesaver. Now you can do it that way, you can splice into them if that's what you want to do, or you can use one of these wiring harnesses by a professional, which is what I'm going to do, because if not, I don't want to cut into all these, especially on a brand new vehicle. I'd rather just plug something in and it works. I just want to show you guys in a more visual way than the wiring diagram, because sometimes wiring diagrams don't really make sense for me or other people. So I just want to show you guys, I did like a dry run. So obviously this is the body harness, right? This is that ACM module that we just unplugged. You go down, it's a Y, goes down into this clear white connection. This is your kicker key harness. Don't worry about this blue wire for now, keep it bundled. And also pay no attention to this on mine. If you're just doing the kicker key, you won't have this. This is for a future subwoofer setup, so kind of a sneak preview there. But just keep in mind that doesn't matter right now. But that's gonna follow down, I'm following it across. You go down and it Ys again, this time to I think it's 6 or 8 right here that goes into the kicker key, and then the 14, which is the big boy right here. Then from that 14, you're gonna see 2 reds, 2 blacks. Those come out into these plugs, and I like the way he did this where one's a positive, or one's a female and one's a male, so that way you can't cross them. Obviously the colors match as well. But you're gonna go obviously red to red, black to black. And from here, you're gonna see these eye loops. This is gonna go to the ground on the chassis, which I'll show you how I do that. And also this is gonna go to the battery. So this is a positive terminal on the battery, which also has an inline fuse. So everything's already pre-wired. I still have it kind of zip tied and bundled for ease. But this is how this is gonna go. This is gonna go into the steering wheel, and we're gonna run these wires nice and clean underneath the dash, probably zip tied out of the way. Here's how I have mine mounted. It's just zip tied on there, but you can see I have the controls on the driver's side. It's just gonna go back underneath there like so. But I saw some other people do this, and I was just shaking around, making sure I won't hear any rattles or anything like that. Everything seems nice and tight. And yeah, I had to do the double zip tie. I didn't have one big enough, but this looks like it should work pretty good. Worst case, I can always go get some screws and just screw right through this little sheet metal or make some like rubber washers for it or something like that. We're gonna go with this. It should hold no problem. Zip ties are NASCAR rated, so we should be all good there. And now I'm just gonna keep fishing through the wires and try to get this wrapped up. You can see it right here, the clear to clear. We showed that on the trash can, right? Those are the OEM plugs. I haven't put all that stuff back, but we have the mount right there. And I put the controls on this side because there is a microphone that you will use for the DSP, but I can easily adjust and kind of get in there and see whatever I need to see. That's why I put the controls on this side. I did tuck the wires underneath there, and you can see the power and negative, hopefully back there where my finger's at. This panel will obviously just close back up, but nothing is down here by the pedals to really get caught up or anything like that. From there, you guys saw how I went through the firewall. You can see there. These little bundles I'll probably clean up later, but right now they're sitting next to the OEM bundles because I have the aux switches. Then we have it on the power, on the battery. Then obviously we don't have it on the negative, we have it on the ground here. So this is the chassis ground I see a lot of people using. So that's how everything's powered and wired. So now we are playing audio, and I have the dip switch on the front one down because it's direct. Let's see if it focuses. It's direct power, so you can see that down. And then I don't have any of the gain set or anything like that. So I'm gonna put stuff back, kind of back how it should, and then we'll run the setup using the microphone. We're gonna run the setup here. We have the microphone up on the headrest, and we have it tucked in there so it doesn't fall. We have it plugged into the side, and then there's a button here that will actually click. One of the things I read though, ooh, those fingerprints are so bad. One of the things I've read though is that you wanna have all of the vehicle tones, like those things I started with the treble, mid bass, and bass. Put those all the way down. Also make sure on your amp, you're at all the way down on the gain. And from there, you wanna make sure no AC is on, make sure all the doors and windows are closed. And then from there, we'll play our pink noise, which hopefully this connects. Give you guys my number here. And then we'll just start playing it. So you'll hear it here. It wants to be above conversational, like slightly loud. And from there, we'll let it run its tone, and hopefully we get a happy tone. It takes about 4 or 5 minutes. I just heard the happy beats. It'll go like doo 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 doo, like that's your happy sound, just so you guys know. Took about 4. That's the happy sound. So I just listened to even some of my own music before we do our A/B test with the no copyright. But one of the cool things is with this button, once you've got it doing its little setup, you can go back and forth as you click it and listen as it turns on and off your DSP. So I just listened to some of my own personal music, and before I get into the A/B test, because now I gotta go record that, which you guys probably already heard in the beginning of this, there's a couple notes that I wanna make about this setup. One, make sure on the first dip switch on the amp, you have it to the DC, so down. That was really critical. I didn't get power for a bit there, and that was one of the reasons why. The second reason why is because you guys saw I had a freaking fuse that I blew setting this place up because I'm a bit of a dingbat, and you guys have to make sure you have the proper fuse in place, because if that was direct to the battery, we could have had real problems. So good thing there was a fuse there, and good thing I had a replacement ready. And the next thing is, I was having this like build up and pop sound from the dash speakers whenever the vehicle was off. That was something that kind of scared me because I was like, I don't want this to ruin my driving experience because we added this in, but fear not. All it is you got to click in the toggle next to the right gain. It's right by the mic input for the amp. You just toggle that in, got rid of it. I think it's like the auto on or something like that. Totally fixed it, not a problem anymore. It just works, and everything sounds so much better. Like for the price that you pay, I think the kicker key's $300. The wiring's about 120 bucks, maybe 100 bucks. Let's just say 400 bucks all in, plus, you know, your water and beers or whatever you're drinking to do the job. You could get it done in about an hour and a half, 2 hours, especially with the help of my video, because I was trying to figure some stuff out. But you can get this done in an hour and a half for $400, and it makes such a drastic improvement, even with the bass speakers. Now, I'm not an audiophile. I don't need the best of the best for audio, but even I could recognize that these bass speakers sucked. So this was a huge improvement on the bass speakers, but keep in mind, if you get aftermarket speakers and you give them some power like this, now you're gonna really make them scream. So that's probably what's next, is I'm gonna be looking for some aftermarket speakers to replace the 4 inches in the dash, the 6.5s down below, and the other 4 inches in the pods. So 6 speakers total. Gonna be looking up speakers for that. But I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up right here because you guys have probably already heard the A/B test, and I can't wait to go clean up, get ready for dinner, and cruise around town listening to my music at a beautiful, nice, crisp, filling volume that's no longer so tinny and just plasticky sounding. Like, that's the best way to describe Ford's OEM sound systems now. Plasticky. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, then please comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time.